Hey, what's up, geeks? Darron here. I know it's been a minute, and I apologize for it. I'm going to try to be more consistent on this channel. I've been getting a lot of great messages from you guys, and I want to make sure I answer those questions and actually keep delivering good material for you guys. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to build a Tic Tac Toe application. In this video, we're going to cover a few different components. It's a beginner course, so I'm going to touch base on the text component, the view component, the style sheet, the modal, and the flat list. So if you're new to React Native, you're going to enjoy this course. Also, I get a lot of messages from you guys about getting repo access. Now, if you want repo access, I actually have a Patreon in the description. The reason I don't give that out for free is because my channel grows if you guys actually watch the video. So I want to encourage you guys to watch the video. But if you don't have time to watch the video, or even if you watch the video and you want to study the code, you can go ahead and click on my Patreon. It's $15 a month. You get access to all of my repos, all the repos to all the projects that I post on YouTube. You'll have complete access to that. Also, people who have been a part of the Patreon for about 3 months or longer, you'll receive gifts such as mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, etc. So if that sounds good to you, check out my Patreon. But anyways, that's enough of talking. Now let's start coding. Okay, geeks, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to work on getting this stuff removed from our application. So I have live templates if you guys are new to my channel. So typing in RFC and tab, it's going to build out our component for us. And this is going to be our app component. Go ahead and save that. Okay, now we have empty screen, just like I wanted. And I'm going to bring in a few different components from React Native. So we already have our view and our text. I'm going to bring in our safe area view, our flat list, our style sheet. And I'm actually looking at the project in one of my other windows, so bear with me if it looks kind of like I'm reading something. So touchable opacity, the status bar, the image, and dimensions component. Go ahead, bring this down so it's easier to read. Okay, so I just ran into a minor issue. I actually have to go to my terminal and type in the command yarn add Lodash. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go back to our project. Now the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and add our styling. So I'm typing const styles equals style sheet dot create. Safe area view. I'm going to give it the flex value of 0, and the background color will be navy. Next, I'm going to style our screen container. Its flex value is going to be 1. Next, we're going to add our Tic Tac Toe container. It's going to have a few different properties. We're going to add border width. Give the value of 5. Border color, we're going to give it the value of orange. Background color, Give it the value of white. Width. Give it the value of 100. Height. Give it the value of 100. Margin. Give it the value of 15. Align items. Give it the value of center. Justify content. Give the value of center as well. And border radius. Give it the value of 20. Now guys, I actually made a mistake. The Tic Tac Toe container is, it has different styling. So this is supposed to be the box container. So go ahead and update it to box container. And above our box container, we're gonna add our Tic Tac Toe container. Now our Tic Tac Toe container is gonna have the background color of navy. The border bottom width of 5. And the border bottom color, and its value will be orange. Next, selection is going to have the font, size, with this value equal to 0, excuse me, value equal to 50. The reset button container, its value is going to be border top width. Its value will be 5. Border top color. Its value will be navy. Background color. Its value will be orange. Position, absolute. Bottom, value be 0. Width, value is 100%. Padding, value be 15. Reset button. The background color will be navy. Align items will be center. Reset button. Justify content will be center. Padding will be 15. Border radius is 20. Reset button text. We're going to use the color property. Give it the value of white. Font size. Give it the value of 30. Font weight. Give it the value of bold. image container. Add the flex property, and its value will be 1. Align items, its value will be center. And justify content, its value will be center as well. Now, let's style our logo. So add a logo style property, and it's going to utilize the width, the value of 325, and the height will be 559. Bottom, the height times 0.05. Now the reason we're getting this bug or this little error is because I actually did not reference it from our dimensions component. So I'm gonna scroll up and I'm gonna type in height. We'll type in const at our curly brackets height and set it equal to dimensions dot get. We want to get our window. So referencing the height in our window in our simulator. Okay. Now, I know styling can take forever, but it's important. So anyways, now we're going to start adding some of the components to our screen. What I want you to go ahead and do, we're going to use our fragment. And the first thing we're going to bring in is our safe area view. We're going to close it out. Use our style property. We're going to reference our styles dot safe area view. Go ahead and save that. Now you can see we have a black, a blue, navy blue header at the top where our time and our Wi-Fi and battery is showing. Next, we're going to add our status bar component. Because right now we can't even see it. So status bar, we're going to use our bar style property and set the value equal to light content. Now you can see we can the text of our time and our battery is now white, so it's easier to read. Next component we're going to use is our safe area view again. And this time, instead of closing it directly, we're going to build it out completely. So let's pass in our style property. Make sure we use that. And we're going to use our styles.screen container. Okay. Next, we're going to use our view. We're going to add our style property as well. Utilize that. And reference our style.tic tac toe container. Save it. Okay, cool. Now we have this orange border, which is pretty nice. All right. Now, before we actually utilize our flat list, we have to actually add our boxes list. So right after our component initialization, we're going to create a variable called boxes. We're going to set it equal to an array of empty strings. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So make sure your array has 9 empty strings. Now for our flat list. I'm passing our flat list. flat list, we're going to utilize a property called number of columns, which its value is going to be 3. Our key extractor, we're going to grab our, moving too fast. We're going to grab our item and our index. We'll set it, return our index. Next, we're actually supposed to, once we actually create our boxes array, we're going to bring in useState from React. Now we're going to type in const add our array, set it equal to useState, and its default value is going to be boxes. So array, and the function to update our array is going to be set array. So we're going to pass in our array as our data. Next, we're going to go ahead and render our item. So we're going to reference our item, property, and our index. We're going to return. Within our return, we're going to pass in our touchable opacity component. Our styles value is going to be styles.boxContainer. And right now, we'll just leave it like this for right now. Next, we're going to pass in our text component. Our text component is going to reference our item. And our style property, its value is going to be styles.selection. Okay, cool. Now, after our flat list, after our view component, we're going to go ahead and add another view component. We're going to use the style property, and this value is going to be styles.imageContainer. Now, I want you to scroll up. Right after our dimensions declaration, we're going to create a variable called const logo URL. So I'm actually grabbing these images from my website. If you haven't checked out the blog, check out GeekMODE.tech. Anyways, type in https://geekmode.tech/blue-with-icon.png. Alright, so we'll scroll back down to our image container. I'm going to pass in our image component. I'm going to add our style property and set its value equal to styles dot logo style. Make sure you add 2 curly brackets. Reference the URI. We're going to pass in our logo URL as its value. Save this. As you can see, a logo is showing. Okay, so next, the last thing we're going to do is add our button. So we're going to add another view component, and we're going to use our style property and reference styles dot reset button container. Next, we're going to pass in our touchable opacity component. I wish this thing would just build out on its own. Opacity. Okay. And we're going to use our style property and styles dot reset button. We're going to add our text component. The text value is going to be reset game. And the text component, we're going to use the style property, and its value is going to be styles dot reset button text. So save this. Now you can see. So we have our button. You can see our image. And right now, when we click on, we press any of our Tic Tac Toe boxes, we get no changes. So in order to do that, we're going to have to add some functionality to our application. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to create 3 functions. The first function is going to be called our horizontal, which is for horizontal matches. The next one's going to be our our vertical function for vertical matches. And the function after that is going to be our diagonal function for diagonal matches. So I'm going to go ahead and create those out. So we have one function called horizontal. Another function called vertical. And another function called diagonal. Let's spell it diagonal. Okay, so first for horizontal. I'm not going to create any kind of complex logic. I just want you guys to really understand what's going on. So we're going to have an if statement, and we're going to say if well, before I even add our functionality, I forgot to add our parameters. So we're going to have a temporary array as our parameter and its value. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for these functions. Now for our if statement. So I'm going to say if temp array index 0 is equal to the value, and go ahead and just copy this out 3 times. And so index 1 and 2, we're going to set message actually have to create this, so go ahead, add message, the function set message, and the use state is going to be message. So set message, its value is going to be winner. go ahead and copy this if statement. Copy it twice. And as you can see, the first one is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So update the index to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. All right, and we're going to do the same thing for our vertical. Our vertical is going to be 0, 3, 6. So 0, 3, 6. Our next vertical, which is right here, is going to be 1, 4, 7. And lastly, it's going to be 2, 5, 8. I'm going to copy our if statements. It's going to be 0, 4, and 8. Next is going to be 2, 4, and 6. All right, so go ahead, clean that up. All right, so now we have our 3 functions. Now we have to use these functions. So we're going to create another function called get the winner. So first we're going to add a condition. If our temporary array we have to add these parameters. So we have to add the same parameters as we did for other functions, the value. So if our temporary array dot length is less than or equal to 0, I have some sirens in the background, so hopefully that doesn't, you guys can't hear that. False. And now we're going to pass in our functions, horizontal, pass in these values. We're going to do the same thing for vertical and for diagonal. Okay, so now we have to use our get the winner function. So within our touchable opacity and our flat list, we're going to use our onPress prop. And we're going to say let the value equal array. We're going to get the index, reference the index from our flat list. So we're going to do some ternary functioning. So if it's an empty string, the next value will be 0. Excuse me, 0. Next, if the array.index is equal to 0, then the value is going to be x. If it doesn't match any of those conditions, the value will be 0. Next, we're going to reference our array and the index that was pressed and set it equal to the value. And now we're going to create a new array of boxes. We're going to set it equal to clone deep and pass in our array as its parameter. And we're going to reference our set array function and pass in our new boxes. And lastly, we're going to call our get the winner function, pass in our new boxes and the value. Okay, cool. So right now, we go ahead and there's one thing else we have to do. Actually, let's make sure that this is actually rendering is working as it should. And that's exactly what's happening. Now we're getting something back, and if I press these O's, we should get an X. Okay, awesome. Now we need a way to actually reset the game. So underneath our get the winner, we're going to create another function called reset game button pressed. Call our set array function and pass in our boxes, which is the default value, and also our call our set message function, which is default value was an empty string, and that's it. So if I take a look, okay, now then we have to call our function. So let's use our onPress property. We're going to call our reset button press, pass it in there. Now we press our button, it resets the game. Awesome, that's exactly what we wanted. Okay, so lastly, what we're going to go ahead and do, I'm going to create a modal, and the modal is going to display every time somebody has actually won the game. So to actually do that, we're going to go ahead, we're going to create a new file. File is going to be called Winner Modal.js. It's going to be a functional component. The name of the component is going to be called Winner Modal. Now to get started, we're going to go ahead and bring in all of our components that we're going to use. So let's pass in modal, style sheet, image, and touchable opacity. Okay. Now from the app.js file, what I want to go ahead and do, I'm going to copy our logo URL. I don't like to duplicate code, but just for this beginner tutorial, I don't think it really matters. Now we're going to create a few properties for this Winner Modal. That's going to be our close modal property, our modal visible property, and our message property. I'm going to go ahead and remove all of this code. I'm going to grab my modal component. And our modal component, I'm going to reference the animation type property and set its value equal to fade. Next, transparent property, I'm going to set its value equal to true. And visible, its value is going to be set to modal visible. Okay. before we continue any further, I have to go ahead. I'm going to create the styles for our component. So const styles equals styles cheat dot create. Pass in my create a container style. This value is going to be flex, well, property flex 1, value 1. Background color is going to be RGBA. Set passing 0, 0, 0. So 3 zeros, 0.5. Give us some opacity on our background color. Align items. The value will be center. Justify content will have the value of center as well. Next, we're going to create a modal container. And the background color is going to be white. The border color is going to be orange. The border width is going to be 5. Align items. The value is going to be center. Justify content. We'll have the value center as well. Padding will be 15. And border radius will be 15 as well. Next, our image style. The width of our image is going to be the same values that it was on in our app.js file. The width is going to be 325. The height is going to be 59. Winner text. This color is going to be black. Font weight. This value is going to be 600. Font size will have the value of 25. And margin vertical will have the value of 25 as well. Button style. We'll have the background color of navy. Padding by the value of 15. Width by the value of 100%. Border radius by the value of 20. Button text. We'll have the color of white. Make sure I have my quotations. The font size will be 20. And font weight will be 400. I know styling takes time, but I prefer to build it out than to use a library that may be deprecated in the future. So anyways, within our modal component, we're going to add our view. Our view, its style property is going to have the value of styles.container. We're going to add another view within our view, and its style is going to be styles dot I'm just gonna set it equal to true just so we can see something right now. So styles dot, I lost for a second, modal container. So save that. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and add our modal real fast. So add our modal component to our winner. So winner modal not. Yes, import winner modal from winner modal. Reference winner modal. Okay. All right, cool. So now we can at least see what we're doing. Okay. So you can see we have that nice opacity in the back. Okay, cool. Now we're going to use our image component. Use our style property. Set its value to styles dot image style. Make sure you add another curly bracket within your source. Reference the URI property and pass in logo URL as its value. All right, looking good. Underneath our image component, we're going to add a text component, and its value is going to be the message. And style is going to be equal to styles dot winner text. Underneath our text component, we're going to add touchable opacity component. Text continue. We're going to add our style property, and its value is going to be styles dot button text. Touchable capacity, its style is going to be styles dot button style. Okay. Now we have to go ahead and add our on press property and set its value equal to close modal. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass in our modal visible. This is going to remove our modal. Won't be able to see it. Oh, we can't see it. So it's probably true by default. So anyways, now that we're back in our app.js file, give me a second, guys. Within our modal component, we're going to pass in our properties. So our message, we're going to pass in our message from our state. And we're going to go ahead and create another state value. And that's going to be modal visible. And also a function called set modal visible equals use state. Default value is going to be false. And pass in modal visible. I'm going to remove this for right now, our close modal function. Okay, so now our modal is gone. So right now we're going to go ahead and create some logic that actually gets our modal up and running. So within our if condition, we're going to reference our set modal function, and we're going to make modal visible. So basically by adding that bang before our variable is going to flip it to whatever the opposite value of false is, which is true. So we'll copy this. Pass it to each one of our functions. That is each one of our if statements associated with our vertical component and our diagonal component. Now, before we play the game, I'm going to go ahead and create our last function, which is our close modal function. Set array, we're going to pass in our boxes, set message, pass an empty string, and also we're going to call our set modal visible. We're going to add our bang to our modal visible, just like that. Alright, clean up this file. Okay, cool. So I'm going to pass in our close modal, utilize our close modal property, and pass in our close modal function, just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to play the game. So if I get a tic-tac-toe, yes, the modal, press continue, and it actually resets the game. Alright, cool. Okay, geeks, so that's it for this short tutorial. Hope you learned something, you enjoyed the course. If you want this code, remember you have to be a Patreon member. A link to my Patreon is in the description below. If you're in the Patreon, you get access to all the repos, and you also become a part of our Slack channel. That way you can message me directly if you have any kind of React Native questions, or you can reach any React Native developer also within Patreon. We have developers all around the world. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want to speed up your React Native journey, I strongly advise you to become a patron. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.